the town board. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Frierson?
Here.
Trustee McDowell? Trustee Holmes?
Here.
Chairman Neal?
I'm here. Mr. Bremner, would you honor us by leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Are there any agenda changes this evening? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, and second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 5, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on July 19th, 2021 at 6 o'clock p.m. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 6, any citizens' comments this evening? Going once? No? Okay. Thank you for being here, everybody. We appreciate it. Moving on to item 7, authorized bills for payment for July. Trustee Fisher.
Yeah. Phone conversation with Chairman Neal and Sandra, the business manager, and we reviewed the finances. That was just yesterday, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like forever ago. I would request approval of total bills in the amount of $95,995.53.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Okay, Trustee Frierson, Sandra was really banking on you asking a question. Because there was a discrepancy with the IMRF numbers, and she was sure that you would have it, and so she gave me an email. So that when you asked the question, it was just, it says, the reason for the difference is, I'm reading you specifically from the accountant. The reason for this difference is because IMRF, like you said, the difference occurs because we are making the payment in August for wages that were withheld in July. Essentially, we are recognizing the liability in one month, July, and recognizing the expense in another month, August. This will automatically be balanced once we make the entry to record the IMRF payment made in the beginning of August. And so it was just an August situation. So Sandra will be very happy that she caught something that you didn't. So, okay.
Can we backtrack a little bit? I apologize. On the agenda, and maybe Sonalita to set it, approval of the minutes for July 19th, 2022.
Ah, good catch. Wow, I probably even said 2021. Who's paying attention? What year is it? Okay, that correction's made. Thank you so much, Trustee Holmes. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Frierson?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item number 8, discussion regarding property donation request. I had a conversation with Carol Rakovich today in regards to the property that they would like to donate. The home did not sell to the person that was interested in buying the other property. The homeowner decided not to sell and is not interested in that property, so she is still looking for other alternatives. I shared with her that Zion Township does not even own a lawnmower, and so the idea of us taking over that property would be a major stretch. But at the same time, we've got some residents and some organizations that have some incredible ideas and visions for using space in the community. And so what I shared with her was that I did not know what the end result would be, but that I would be willing to hold the space and the conversations to help them find a resolution. And so we've got Monarch Mania this Sunday, so I told her that next week I would reach out to the Park District and see if we could have a follow-up meeting in regards, and just bring everybody to the table, University of Illinois Extension, the Urban Farmers Program, the Coalition, and the Park District, and see what we could put together. So I put it in my notes to notify the president of the Coalition about that idea as well, so just stating that for.
Good notes, good
ears.
notes.
So
Okay.
she was thrilled with that. She was just happy that, because it's so hard to navigate and try and figure this kind of stuff out, and so, promised her to do that, so that's just the update.
Got it.
And we'll let you know what it goes with that.
Thank you.
And then item 9, discussion regarding whistleblower act. So I read through it again, had a conversation with trustee Fisher on it, and I sent an email to our state's attorney and asked him, because my understanding is that, like, if there's something happening at the township and somebody needs to be the whistleblower, they probably wouldn't want to call a trustee, but most of the townships are using trustees, they would want to call the state's attorney's office, right? And so I asked him why, and they said that if you don't choose a whistleblower person, that it would revert back to the state's attorney's office. But the way that they said it made it sound like it was like, I'm not sure. So I sent him an email in that regard, asking if it wouldn't make more sense for the state's attorney to be the organization notified. But I just wanted to put it out there as the city's police and fire commissioner. I was wondering, should they say, no, we do need to choose somebody, in the township to be able to do that position, if you might be willing to hold that space.
Should they say no, yes, I'd be willing to hold
Okay,
that
thanks.
space.
And it's just that, so your name would be on the website and in the office, that if anybody feels like there's anything inappropriate going on, that you would be the person that they would reach out to.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay. And so we'll come back and do a final vote on that, I think. I don't know if we need to vote or we just need to designate. Is everybody okay with that?
I think-
Actually, Chairman Neal, you do need to have a vote,
Okay,
but
good.
because it's on your agenda as discussion, you will
Discussion,
not be
yeah.
able to take action tonight.
Perfect.
You will be able to take action at your next board meeting.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, that makes it perfect. Okay, and then item 10, discussing regarding the Decennial Committees on Local Government Efficiency Act. I just wanted to bring up, so in this bill that they put together, it's asking to have 2 Zion residents at least serve on this committee. And so I would love it if everybody would put their thinking caps on and at the next meeting have some names that we might want to recommend. People that really understand the value, and I don't have any names in mind, to be honest with you. But people that understand the value of the different agencies and what we deliver and want to help us be more efficient would be wonderful. One of the areas as we're staging to have these conversations that the township is always struggles with. We hire a company to come in and cut our grass and make do the land. Landscaping and do the weeding and that kind of stuff, and I know that the library does, I know that the city does, and so just as like we start to put together different ideas of like what we could be doing more efficiently, that to come up with ideas like that, where what if we all went together and hired one person, that could take care of all of it, and it could look much nicer. So I'm looking forward to these. At first I was like, oh my gosh, more work, another committee. But then the more I thought about it, the more I think that there could be some really positive things that come out of this. So, yeah, if everybody would just kind of keep your eyes open, and we'll talk about it the next meeting.
Did you have any additional discussions about the true scope of it? So is this just for township government?
No, it's for every layer of government except for county and municipal.
Okay.
And so, but it doesn't mean that we still can't, it won't open up dialogues for things that we can do collectively with municipal and county, actually. You never know what comes up.
Okay.
I found it interesting that part of it was, the synopsis was, it dissolves the committee after completion of its report. I mean, why would you?
Right. Wouldn't you keep your thinking cap on?
Absolutely.
Right? What I appreciate about it more than anything is that we had all of the coterminous townships meet at Evanston Township, because Evanston Township merged with the city, right? But the city already had a human services department and a number of different things that made it work with them. And so one of the things that came from that meeting was just this strong urgency that any bills that they try and put through for consolidation, they start it with a study, so that people can have facts instead of people with their opinions and, you know, what's that saying? Don't confuse me with the facts, I've already made up my mind, right? But by doing a study, then everybody's got the same information to go by. And I feel like this is kind of a way that does that, right? Let's just do a study for what makes sense, and then we can spin off of that, so. So what else can come from that?
Are we able to leverage the previous study that was done?
I would love to, I want to go back and take and evaluate that and recrunch numbers and see if we stand at the same place or where, you know, where that could be different.
I don't recall, do we have any notes of kind of the process that they went through in compiling that data?
Probably not, but maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but probably not. Well, and one of the other things that was in that study, was not in that study, it was strictly financial, right? And so having a longer dialogue about the pros and cons of different ideas, instead of just the, you know, the financial piece, might be worthy in 100 different scenarios.
And sorry, I haven't read through all this yet, so as far as the school districts go, is there gonna be a separate committee, or this one committee? is
Oh,
gonna
no,
be
each one has their own committee.
Right, okay.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to do that. Let them do their own
Which,
thing.
yes, and, right, so wouldn't it be interesting if we had a couple of residents that, at least for the city of Zion ones, were willing to be on each one and listen in for like any place where there might be some crossover.
Well, that's what I'm slightly confused about. So the committee that we designate here, what's the scope of what it's gonna look at? It's not gonna delve into school finances or?
Just township.
Just township, okay.
So it's the board and 2 residents.
Got it, okay.
And why hasn't there, or has there been a discussion in terms of having a referendum? I mean, I know there's a cost factor to that, but.
So that's the result of the work that this committee does would determine if there needs to be a referendum.
What kind, well, for the audience watching later, what kind of referendum
I
would
mean,
you?
take it to the voters, because this would be a big change, right?
What would be the
Presumably, it would be a big change if the township merged into whatever, right?
Oh, absolutely, but that's like one small, you know what I mean, that of a big conversation, that's one of the things to look at. But yeah, it's just about getting facts, and then if anybody looked at those facts and said, huh, you know what, I'm interested in pursuing it, would the residents, you know, be interested in this, then it would be a whole nother
Yeah,
thing.
because the Consolidation and Efficiency Act, the buzzwords there, you know, however it fleshes out,
Right.
right?
Well, and Chris, or Trustee Fisher, excuse me, I didn't have a chance to read deeper into it, but you had mentioned something about how it was originally about consolidation, but then we were
Yeah,
pretty sure.
well,
that they
it's
pulled
right
it
here,
out.
it's right here on the cover page. The Senate amendment removed the requirement that a committee study whether the governmental unit should consolidate with another governmental unit, municipality, or county, or county makes conforming changes to the bill. So they removed that requirement. So that's not part of the requirement for this committee.
Right. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't take a look at it.
You know,
right?
it's looking at everything else, efficiencies, operations, everything else, but as far as consolidation, that is not mandated as part of the mission for this committee. Now, it doesn't mean that the committee can't discuss it,
Right.
but it's just not mandated.
Gotcha. Cool. So, yeah, all right, thank you. Okay, so moving on, we have item 11, Assessor Davis's report.
Good evening.
The 30-day window to appeal your property assessments will end on August the 29th. We are completing the appeals as they come in our office. Our office is open to speak with anyone who needs clarification or wants to go over their assessment, has questions or anything like that. We can discuss that with you in detail. And a friendly reminder that the final payment for property taxes is due September the 7th. And please note that we do not accept payments in our office. We have posters out in the vestibule in our office. We put it on the website, social media to let you know of the locations that you can make your payment. You can always call our office and we can let you know of the locations where payments are accepted. And lastly, in community news, I was among a group of phenomenal women who were presented with the Harriet Tubman Award by a organization entitled the Women of Destiny of Lake County at their 5th annual scholarship luncheon. And this is a couple of weeks ago, and this organization benefits women in the community with scholarships at the College of Lake County, and they, help them to be able to get their GED and just get a good jump start on life. And unfortunately, I just found out last week that the founder of this organization passed away unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
So just want to send out prayers to, her family and friends. Yeah. And that's my
Oh, such a big high and such a low low
and
all
Dawn,
in one
yeah,
statement,
I know,
right?
right? Her name was Dawn Johnson.
Oh.
And apparently she's I think she was originally from Zion, or her family's from Zion.
She's
She
from
grew up in
Waukegan.
Chicago and then
She's
moved
from
back.
Waukegan. She lived in Zion.
Okay,
Yes.
from Waukegan, lived in Zion.
Yes.
But I knew she had a lot of connections here in Zion because she made mention of that to me when I did get to meet her beforehand and talk to her, and then definitely celebrated with her on that day at her event. Great event. Everything was just wonderful, and then
Oh, wow. Well, it was definitely well deserved.
yeah.
Everything you do that you pour your life into,
Oh,
you
yeah.
definitely
Thanks,
deserve
thanks.
that award. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, and prayers with God's family.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, then on to supervisor's report announcements. The monthly services report, I made a couple of changes this month. If you see on the incoming calls, I asked Sandra to start including last year's calls, because I was like, what is that compared to? And I feel like the number of calls coming in necessitates, number of people coming in necessitates all the other pieces. So I asked her to start including that, and then she also put it on the graph next to it per day. So to be able to see how, looking at this graph, there's almost no method to the madness. But it gives us a little bit more information. And then, did you want to ask your question, Trustee Holmes? With this report?
Asked Supervisor Neal on the assistance program data. There was a emergency assistance denials, referenced as 2, but one was incomplete application. Do we,
Yeah.
do we know what the other one was in terms of what didn't?
So it's actually 2 separate things. So there were, what we realized is we need to change the, instead of incomplete applications, it's actually pending applications. So those are ones that are pending that hadn't gone through yet. And the denials, actually, I asked Adriana, and she said the residents took care of the emergency before the application was processed and approved. The process is different for everyone, but if we have a complete application submission, applications are processed within the same week. And so sometimes people come in and fill it in, and then they call and say, I got it taken care of. So then we have to officially deny the application because there's no longer an emergency. But beginning next month, instead of it saying EA incomplete applications, it'll say pending applications.
Thank you.
Thank you. A few other things, just to share. On Tuesday, August 9th, the Zion government leaders of each taxing body attended a tour and discussion with Exelon on the status and safety of our property on Lake Michigan. Just a huge shout out to Exelon. It was really well put on, and feel very positive about the direction of working together, right? Our whole goal with Design Leaders was just to build relationships so that when that property is turned over and it's time to develop it in some other way, that they don't just go off and make their own decisions, that they're part of a bigger team. And they made it clear that they truly understood that and they would do that. So happy about that. Summer work program was a huge success again this year. We had 27 youth led by Adriana Ortiz, Rod Henry, and Cameron Bridges. We've already started meeting with Lake County Workforce Development, and specifically I called a meeting with Lake Forest Development because they had some snafus with paying the kids. I don't know how many people heard about it, but it was a huge issue. And so we wanted to make sure that, one, the last 2 paychecks that the kids would get, there would be no issues with it, and two, that whatever that happened moving forward for next year. And they actually asked us to have a follow-up conversation about some ways that they can tweak the program. So we were really happy about that. And then we also met with New Tech, the principal and vice principal of New Tech High. Next year we want to really more develop so the interview process and everything. It's been a little frustrating because the county, because of COVID, hasn't been able to come out. That was one of the other things we met with them on. So we want to have the county here processing the applications with the kids, because if they don't have one document, then at least the parents are like right here and they can just run home and get it instead of having to go from Waukegan or fax it in and do all that other work. So we want to try and really make it a smooth, powerful day for the kids and their parents. So looking forward to next year. And then Design Together Days was successful, although Monarch Mania had to be canceled because of the weather. So it is rescheduled for this Sunday from 1 until 5 o'clock. We've got more food vendors. We've got more of pretty much everything because the date worked better for a number of people. And so hoping everybody will come out for that, and that the weather holds out. Can we all just pray, right? I never, ever, ever pray for weather. I'm like, God, your will, not mine, be done. But now I'm like, oh, heck no. Sorry, God. I need to pull rank here. I need you to hold the weather out for us for this one. There's just been so many volunteers and so much that's gone into it. So, and then just to share, I worked in collaboration with Richard from the Coalition for Healthy Communities and University of Illinois Extension to submit a grant with the Healthcare Foundation in Northern Lake County to fund a whole person community health assessment. It's the hope that with this study, our community will access additional funds to address some of our deepest needs. So more to come on that. I don't know when we hear about it, but I think that the award happens November 1st.
Yeah,
So
I believe decision should be sometime in that month.
okay, perfect. So we shall see. So I had originally submitted it under Zion Township, and then found out if we were awarded the grant, because we're a government agency, they will only fund 50%. But if a non-for-profit agency submits it, they would pay 100%. Well, that was kind of a no-brainer because the township didn't have 50% to contribute. And so working with the coalition, Richard, you actually, the agency that is the fiscal agent for us is
The community works.
yeah, the Community Works out of Waukegan, right?
Correct.
And so really excited to have them as a partner to be able to make this happen. So praying that that goes through. And then just a few shout outs here. And as I started writing, it was like there's so much with the coalition. But I wanted to just congratulate again Barbara Price for seeing her vision of having a community garden in Zion come to fruition, and to support to the support team of the Buzz Committee for supporting her, Illinois Beach Sunrise Rotary, and Memorial United Methodist Church, as well as many other volunteers. It's a beautiful garden, and there's a commitment to actually fill that space next year, so it will be completely full. Also, other happenings thanks to the coalition include yoga on the beach at North Point Marina with Alice Scott this Saturday at 6:30 a.m. in the North Beach. At North Point, the Caddy Classic, which took place last Friday and was a lot of fun for everybody that attended. I'm really grateful for all the students that came out and worked that.
Renamed for our youth.
Yeah, what is it called? For our youth.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, did I call it the Caddy Classic here?
Yeah.
Thank you. For our youth. I actually bonded with one of the tennis players to get tennis lessons, so it's on my bucket list to try and learn how to play tennis. So that was good. And I connected a kid that wants to get into welding with the president of the Midwest Blacksmiths Association that lives right here in town, and so she's gonna reach out to him and, or he's gonna reach out to him and see if he can get some lessons, so that was a couple of good takeaways from the golf outing. Plans for Zion's second mural are taking shape at Floors to You on their south wall. The artist is Zion's own Everett Reynolds, and donations are being accepted by the coalition for this project, as well as we're staging to do movie nights every Friday night in September, and we're looking for sponsors for that, $500 sponsor to be able to host the movie. And then tomorrow is Zion Benton Township High School's second annual B-Bash from 2 until 5 o'clock. And then, last but not least, the Zion Township team, we're visiting the senior buildings to assist with LIHEAP applications this month. We were at Zion Senior Cottages yesterday and saw a lot of seniors. We were supposed to be at Carmel House today, but they're under new management and they're doing a bunch of construction, so we scheduled that for September. And then we're working with Bethesda Village as well. And then CAP is going to be doing Shiloh Towers. And so they'll be going there directly. So hopefully we'll get all those seniors. And then we are not going to be doing the walk-ins this year, but they